This is a journey into sound.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Future Octave Radio.
You're listening to Soul Detox with Quinn Candice on Future Octave Radio.
Welcome back, friends and family. I'm here today with a very special guest, Guru Gary. Hi, how are you?
Doing great, thanks.
Fantastic. So glad that you can join us today on this episode of Soul Detox. I hear that you are a lover of life and jazz music.
Yeah, I like to listen to little music every now and then. I like Alice Coltrane's one of my favorite artists.
Yeah, she's really, really awesome. Yeah, I was listening to a few tracks recently, so today hopefully we'll be able to play a little bit of Alice Coltrane and in lieu of our discussion today. So, you know, I talked to you before about transcendental meditation, but a lot of people out there are not sure what transcendental meditation is. And since you went through the TM Cities program, is that correct?
Yeah, that's the more advanced program. The initial program everyone learns is transcendental meditation. It's very simple, easy to learn, effortless technique of meditation. It's like, you sit and close your eyes and they give you a sound. It's called a mantra. And the sound has a very special effect on your nervous system. Causes your physiology to become less and less active. Puts you into a state of very deep rest. And this is a state of deep rest that includes being clearly awake or wakefulness. So this is a kind of a unique technique of meditation in that it's totally effortless. And people learn very quickly. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's great because I think a lot of people are overwhelmed with just the rigors of their normal daily life. And so adding something on there that's complicated might keep people away from a meditation, even though it's something that's really, really necessary. So how did you come across transcendental meditation?
Well, it was just kind of a coincidence, a series of events in my life. I probably was a seeker of something else in life from a very early age. I think I was probably only 10, 11 years old when I thought to myself, something is missing here in life, you know. And so over the years, I began more and more looking for something, that missing element. And I was fortunate enough, after trying some probably less than best decisions on how to find that, I finally found a technique of meditation. A friend of mine told me that, hey, there's this free lecture, let's go check it out. So we went down, listened to this lecture about meditation, and the key word that I remember from this lecture was effortless. It's totally effortless. So anybody who can think a thought can meditate. That's the only prerequisite, the ability to think a thought. And the mind and the body is already pre-programmed to do everything else. As long as the thought is correct, and the thought brings about this spontaneous reaction of experiencing finer and finer stages of the thought process. And that's what this TM technique is called, TM for short. That's what it does.
Okay, fantastic. I like that that you were really young when you were seeking out, you know, something more to life, because I feel like people have had that constant feeling within themselves where they're actually seeking out more in life, but they're not really sure where or how, and they look for it, like you said, in maybe recreational drugs, or they look for it in partying, or they look for it in just watching TV or mundane type of things. And so when was it actually when you decided, when you found out about that seminar? Do you remember a approximate year? when that was?
I learned to meditate about 40 years ago. And this was probably after, 20 years of probably wandering around in the desert, doing some of the things that you suggested, including the recreational drugs, looking for something to bring some greater clarity to what was missing in life. And so I was fortunate to find TM. It took me hardly any time at all to discover that this technique of meditation produces profound results very, very quickly. And I knew that I had made the correct choice. And
so
like
had you tried any other forms of meditation by that time, or were you trying a few and it was
once upon a time, again when I was quite young, I did sort of accidentally discover by staring at the ceiling and where I lived. I just stared at this spot on the ceiling for hours and hours, and suddenly I had this sort of spontaneous experience of feeling like I was enormously huge. Very expansive experience, and I tried to tell my friends about it, but nobody understood.
They probably thought you were a little crazy, huh?
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say that. They thought I was nuts. There's no such thing as that. So I kind of lost interest, But
and then you came across this new form of meditation, and it was like one of those aha moments. I found something, kind of filled maybe that void that you were looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the first day I went for instruction, the teacher taught one-on-one. So the teacher told me, the step-by-step what to do. Very easy, effortless. Anybody can do it. But she kept asking me, well, what did you experience? How was it? And she kept asking me all these questions, and I kept saying, I don't know. But finally she said, well, when you finish meditating, you come downstairs. So I walked out the door. When I finished, got up, walked out the door. I took one step down the steps, and I said to myself, oh my God, something has changed. It was that quick that I had this profound experience and knew that this transcendental meditation was something unique. And,
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love hearing the experiences, because I think that'll motivate more people to find the meditation that is right for them. We're going to go ahead and jump into a little bit of music, hopefully some Alice Coltrane. DJ Caution's going to cue that up for us, and then we'll come right back.
This is a journey into sound.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Future Alternative Radio.
வாழ்வது மிகவும் கடினம் கடவுளின் அருளால் குருவின் கிருபையால் பரமனின் காலடி ஆனந்தத்தில் மகிழ்வோம் தேவலோகம் அளவில் ஆனந்தம் என்றும் சாந்தம் பெருமானின் அடை
Station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music. You're listening to Soul Detox with Quinn Candice on Future Octave Radio.
Okay, well, welcome back. We're going to do meditation instead of medication today. Thank you for that. So, talking about transcendental meditation and carrying on with our conversation, transcendental meditation, I know, is one form of meditation. How would you say that it's different from other types of meditation?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know one area where it's completely different is that the research, there's been a lot of scientific research on meditation techniques and comparing them. And I know one area where people find meditation to be useful is having to do with high blood pressure. Mm-hmm. And so I think it was the AMA, American Medical Association, or maybe it was the American NIH, mm-hmm. Institutes of Health, did a study. They looked at all the research and all the different techniques of meditation, and they discovered that transcendental meditation was the only technique amongst all that produced such a profound effect on high blood pressure that they recommended, or they say that it could be used by doctors now as a technique they can recommend to their patients. It's the only one they could give that recognition to. So that's one area. Then the one area that I think I'm most profoundly interested in is the thing I've said before, being totally effortless. Most techniques, other techniques of meditation, do require some form of effort, like concentration or contemplation, that sort of thing. In fact, if you look at some other websites, they even confess to the fact that it may not be that easy to learn. Whereas TM is completely effortless. Anyone can learn from, very young age, 5, 10 years old, up to, 90 years old. You could learn TM. It's just that easy to learn.
Yes. I hope that we have some 90-year-olds out there practicing their TM learning, just willing to go ahead and learn it. I mean, if there's something new that comes when I'm 90, and my guru of a human comes to me and says, hey, you can go ahead and try this. Studies show that it's beneficial. I'm probably going to be willing to do that. I love that the transcendental meditation helps with high blood pressure, and I'm sure there's many other health benefits. So I would be as bold to say that this could be used as an alternative to medication, so that people have other forms that are not pharmaceutically based, where they can get some solutions to probably just minor things like headaches and stress and fatigue and those type of very, very topical issues.
Yeah, there's many people that have reported, for instance, having trouble with sleep, and this is particularly true of people like coming back from being in a war zone, and they have post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD, and they find that they just can't go to sleep. And there's many stories of people who have learned transcendental meditation, and just almost immediately they say, "Oh my God, I finally got a good night's sleep. Finally got a chance to get some deep rest." And so it has that. In fact, I'll give you another analogy. I just thought of this. When you go to sleep at night, for a person who has normal sleep, after about 6 hours, your body will have this maybe 9% reduction in the use of oxygen. It's a way of measuring your metabolism. Your body's getting rest, and after about 6 hours, it dropped your metabolism down in terms of oxygen consumption about 9%. But when you practice TM, within the first few minutes, you will have a drop in oxygen consumption down to maybe 18%, twice as deep as that in sleep. So this is something else that is very unique about TM. The level of rest is much deeper than sleep, and that's one of the key elements with regards to why it's so effective in dealing with stress.
Oh, well, I love that. I love that the benefits just are so vast in the range, because some things you take it and it's just for an acute issue, right? Okay, I'm going to take this to solve that. But this sounds like it's kind of like a blanket where transcendental meditation not only helps with blood pressure, but post-traumatic stress syndrome, insomnia, and many other things. I did hear you say that it's getting a little people are known to having the feeling of being more rested than sleep. So how is transcendental meditation different than sleep?
Yeah, the big difference is when you're asleep, you're basically not conscious. Whereas when you're doing a transcendental meditation, you're having a deeper level of rest, but remaining conscious at the same time. In fact, someone in the 60s, I think, did some research on major states of consciousness. And they said, well, there's the basic three. You're awake, you're asleep, you're dreaming. One of those three. And then he said, now there's a fourth major state of consciousness, and he calls it restful alertness. Your body's in a very deep state of rest, but you're still alert. And it's a combination of those two that allows your body to sort of go into a self-repair status while you're meditating. You're conscious, but you're very, very deeply rested. In fact, when it's time to finish your meditation, you have to sit without using your mantra for at least 2 or 3 minutes to let your body return to its normal state of activity. Very gradually return back.
Yes. I could imagine it something like maybe a submarine, in the water, and as you go deeper underneath the levels in the ocean, there's that compression or that feeling where you have to go very slowly as you transcend, hence the name transcendental meditation. And then, coming back out, as a submarine, they don't just shoot back up to the top of the water. They have to go back up just as slowly as they went down into the water.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, like deep sea diving. Yeah, you have to come up slowly, otherwise you get the bends. So that's the same sort of thing. Come up slowly, gradually you return back to normal activity. And so that's the way TM works. So in that
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so in that fourth state of consciousness, that restful alertness, when we're doing that self-repair, You know, since you've been practicing for 40 plus years, how fast do you think that people feel or notice or realize the benefits, the health benefits or the life benefits from practicing transcendental meditation?
Yeah, another really good question. I've discovered that people notice the effects dependent upon their own physiology. Now, some people are very acutely aware of their physiology, and so they'll notice something immediately. In fact, a lot of people notice something immediately. Mm-hmm. And others may be a little less attuned to the physiology, so they may not notice it. But here's the important thing. Scientists have done research now that show that regardless of how you feel after meditating, they can see that the effects have taken place. They can see a change in, for instance, your brain waves, the way that your brain is functioning, more coherence in your brain cells, in their firing. And so the results can be shown immediately in terms of the scientific research, but I've noticed myself immediate results. I was a little more attuned to my physiology and noticed immediate results come very quickly because you're getting a very unique and deep state of rest. So, and people, like I said before, people maybe they haven't been getting good sleep, and immediately they say, "Oh my goodness, I can finally get a deep night's rest." So over time, these benefits sort of multiply and accumulate, and you may notice other more advanced experiences, like maybe you're feeling like you're watching yourself as you're involved in activity. You're sort of become less caught up in the activity and more of a person who's enjoying just watching the activity. And all sorts of other more advanced experiences can be had over time. But in terms of how quickly you notice, I'd say immediately.
That's great, because we need things that, we're in the TV, pop culture, YouTube, Instagram, and so when you say immediate, I feel like that's a buzzword, immediate results. People are really looking into something like that. Well, DJ Caution is telling me that we're going to go ahead and get into a little bit more music right here, so hopefully we've got a little Alice Coltrane to move us into this next section.
This is a journey into sound.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Future Alternate Radio.
Shanti Om.
is a journey into sound.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Future Octave Radio.
You're listening to Soul Detox with Candice on Future Octave Radio.
Okay, well, welcome back. So, I'm loving transcendental meditation. I feel like I'm kind of like a novice. I did learn and go through the 7 steps to make sure that I could learn how to do transcendental meditation myself, but I am more than excited to get back into a regular practice. But I know there's probably a lot of other people out there who are interested in practicing as well. I was wondering before that, however, if there are other things that are commonly incorporated or commonly practiced in combination with transcendental meditation, like food or breathing or exercise, yoga, that kind of a thing.
There is a whole range of areas that you can investigate having to do with your physiology in general, because the healthier your physiology, the more quickly transcendental meditation has an influence. So, yeah, there's a lot of different areas. Food, you mentioned one, eating a healthy diet. There's a whole area called Ayurveda. It's like the science of the span of life.
Ayurveda, how do you spell that?
Oh, geez, I'm going to put my spelling to the test. Ayurveda.
VEDA, okay, Ayurveda. That way I can put it in there for people. Hey, we're on the same spelling path. So okay,
yeah.
Ayurveda, food.
Ayurveda, yeah, it has to do with
diet.
Basically, actually, Ayurveda is sort of like the sort of umbrella that encompasses all these different areas: meditation, diet, things like where you live, which way your house front door faces. That's called Stapachaveda. You have things to do with the movement of the planets, Jyotish, all these different areas. Yeah, all these different areas that influence your physiology. And so, but the most important is the transcendental meditation. That's the one thing you want to do first before anything else.
What about breathing?
Breathing? Yeah, there are breathing techniques, pranayama. Those are also useful. A lot of times people like to use yoga and breathing technique just before meditation, sort of prepare your physiology for meditation experience. So that's useful too. And so there's, what else? I mentioned Jyotish. You can find out, for instance, this is kind of like a Vedic astrology. You can find out if something's coming in your future, and then you can do something to, if it's bad, to minimize it, if it's good, to enhance it, make it even better.
Nice.
So that's nice area you can get into as well.
So we've got just a few things, right? It sounds like more than a few. So if I'm recalling correctly, Ayurveda, diet, Stapachaveda is like more like location, northeast, southwest. Jyotish is like planetary stuff. The pranayama is the breathing. The asanas is the yoga, and then you have your Vedic astrology. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're right. And I'll mention one thing about yoga, because a lot of people, when you say the word yoga, it has a different meaning for different people. But a guy named, his name was Patanjali, and quite a long time ago, he was kind of like a scientist, philosopher. He wrote about the subject of yoga. In fact, some people consider him like the grandfather of yoga. And one of the things he said about yoga, he says, yoga is the complete stilling of the activity of the mind. That's the definition he gave to yoga. The complete stilling of the activity of the mind. So anything you're doing that's associated with yoga should have that as the effect.
Sounds like body meditation.
In essence, it is something like that. But TM is, in essence, yoga. And so are asanas. Anything, all these yoga postures. You take a yoga posture, and that should be the effect, the complete stilling of the activity of the mind. You sit down to do TM, exact same thing, complete stilling of the activity of the mind. All of these areas of yoga have that as the purpose, the goal.
Well, I'm glad that you said that because I must be doing yoga incorrectly because there's no stealing when I do yoga. I am like, I am not in a peaceful state. It is like I really have to practice to get good at some yoga because I see these people, men, women, children doing it, and they are really good, and I'm like shaking and trembling just trying to hold the downward dog or something.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate, very unfortunate thing that has happened to the understanding of yoga. And that's just due to the passage of time. With time, knowledge always gets lost. That's why this simplicity of meditation has been lost. The knowledge of that has been lost with the passage of time. So people do yoga and they think of it as an exercise. Well, yoga should not be an exercise. It should be a technique that brings about the complete stilling of the activity of the mind. And that should be taught in every yoga class. But you do that once you have had the experience of transcending.
Okay.
First you have transcending, and then you understand yoga for that purpose.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just stick with child's pose when it comes to yoga because I can do that one very well. I'm just saying. But
yeah, for anyone listening, next time you do a yoga pose, have that thought in your mind. This is for the sake of stilling the activity of the mind. Let your mind become quiet. That's the goal of yoga postures.
Stilling the activity of the mind. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to get into a little bit more music. We'll come back and finish up this session. Really excited to get into all these wonderful new things, get back into my program and regular practices so I can get on my A game when it comes to this transcendence and transcendental meditation.
All right.
This is a journey into sound.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Future Alternative Radio.
Om Jai Jai Krishna Hari Om. Om Jai Jai Krishna Hari Om. Om Jai Jai Krishna Hari Om.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Future Alternative Radio.
Om Jai Rama, Jai Krishna Hare Om. Om Jai Rama, Jai Krishna Hare Om. Om Jai Rama, Jai Krishna Hare Om. Om Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti 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 Om. Anandanadam Param Brahman Om. Anandanadam Param Brahman Om. Anandanadam Param Brahman Om. Anandanadam Param Brahman Om. Vittala Keshava Madhava Hare Om. Vittala Keshava Madhava Hare Om. Oh, Vittala Keshava Madhava Hare Om. Vittala Keshava Madhava Hare Om. Om Jai Krishna, Jai Rama 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 Hare Om. Om Jai Krishna Hare Om. Om Jai Rama, Jai Krishna Hare Om. Om Jai Rama, Jai Krishna Hare Om. Om Jai Krishna, Jai Rama Hare Om.
This is a journey into sound.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Future Octave Radio.
You're listening to Soul Detox with Quinn Candice on Future Octave Radio.
All right, so welcome back. Thank you for that music, DJ Caution. Awesome job out there. We've been discussing transcendental meditation, and we really want to know, for someone who is just starting out, like how often they should practice transcendental meditation.
Yeah, well, one of the fortunate things about learning TM is you're taught by a certified teacher of transcendental meditation. Make sure if you go to learn that you're being instructed by a certified teacher. And the teacher will give you instructions that are absolutely complete. How long to meditate, what time of day to meditate, what to do if your phone rings, all these instructions, these practical things to do. So usually for most people, it'll be about 15, 20 minutes of meditation in the morning, say before breakfast, and in the evening before dinner, another 15, 20 minutes of meditation. It's that simple. Twice a day, 20 minutes morning and evening. Just that simple. And you want to make sure you find a certified teacher, and they will give you instructions, just the exact same instructions you would get from any certified teacher. And you'll be up and meditating in no time at all. It's very, very simple.
All right, 20 minutes twice a day,
Yeah.
every day, and we got our certified teacher now. Do you have any references or places or locations where people might be able to look up or find more information on transcendental meditation or learn how to find a certified teacher or any of that other
Yeah.
gurus in the field?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very simple. You go to tm.org, and you'll find absolutely everything you need. And I think there's an 800 number. I'm not sure what it is off the top of my head, but I think it's something like 1-800-LEARN-TM. I think that'll get you there. And they can recommend or give you information as to where you can find a TM teacher. And then you just go simple introductory lecture, and then you get instructed, and you're off, and you're meditating. As like I said before, you become as good as absolutely anybody else. There's nothing in the way of you experiencing the full range. Most people learn TM because of, nowadays at least, because of some sort of stressful situation they're trying to take care of. I actually learned because I was interested in spiritual growth, having a more profound and deeper experience about life. I had been searching for this, as I said before, since I was a young kid, and that's what brought me to meditation. And actually, I was quite surprised after I had meditated a very short period of time that I started to see all these other sort of side benefits of improvements in my health. And I found that my troubles I was having with allergies became less. Troubles I was having with, getting sick. Whenever the flu would come around, I'd be the first one to get sick. Well, after a short period of time, I became the last person to get sick. So my health improved. And you just find yourself doing things that are healthier, just naturally, So you sort of become more aware of your physiology.
You just get drawn in that way, it sounds like.
Yeah. In fact, if we got time, I'll tell you a little story. A guy asked me not long after I learned to meditate if there was anything I noticed. I said, well, here's something I noticed. In the past, I'm kind of a left brain analytical engineer, and so I wasn't affected emotionally about many things. Well, after meditating a very short period of time, I remember reading this story in the newspaper about some woman who had lost their child, and fortunately, after some short period of time, she found her child, and she told this story, and I was reading it, and I started getting all emotional. And afterwards, I thought, gosh, this is not me. I don't usually get emotional about these sort of things. And I told this person, he was actually a psychiatrist, he was interviewing meditators, and he laughed. He said, well, looks like you're getting in touch with your emotions. And I said, yeah, I guess so. So there's all these sorts of profound awakenings that take place in your consciousness, areas that you might not have dreamed of. I noticed after a while of meditating that my senses of perception became more profound. My sense of hearing, sense of touch, sight, taste, smell, all 5 senses of perception started to become more profound, much deeper. Colors looked different. They looked brighter, I would hear sounds. I remember going into this room and I started smelling something. What is that smell? I sniffing around the room like a dog, And there was a plant. Somebody had put this plant in the room. There was the soil in the plant. That's the sort of thing I don't normally recognize.
You could smell the soil, yeah.
I could smell the soil. It's like all my senses of perception have become more profound. And so those are the sorts of things you can look forward to for meditation.
Well, I definitely think that's right in line with the show Soul Detox, what we're doing here. And spiritual growth is definitely where we need to move as a humankind, as a human race, and looking forward to more people being interested in moving that way because, as a collective, when we put our vibrations together for something that is positive, then the change happens that we want to see in the world. So thank you so much today for your time. I want to say, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans, and thank you so much for your service. And happy 11/11 to everybody out there. This is a very powerful day for those of you who are in the position to be manifesting. So use those meditations instead of your medications to continue on until we see you at the next time with Soul Detox. Looking forward to talking more with you, Guru Gary, and sitting down and doing a meditation together.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right.
This is a journey into sound.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Future Alternative Radio.
Choose to go, it won't take me far. I'm living my life like it's golden, 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 golden, living my life like it's 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 golden, golden. I'm taking my own freedom, putting it in my song, singing loud and strong. All day long, I'm taking my freedom, putting it in my stroll. I'll be hot stepping, y'all, letting the joy unfold. I'm living my life like it's golden, 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 golden, living my life like it's 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 golden.
This is a journey into sound.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Future Alternative Radio.
You're listening to Soul Detox with Candice on Future Octave Radio.
Future Octave Radio.